Have you ever wondered if you can use the actual reverb of your studio, your empty living room, kitchen, the Sistine Chapel, or the Grand Canyon? The answer is yes, and I'm about to show you how. So let's go. Man, I need some furniture here. Hey, what is up? Welcome back. My name is Tils from the 16 Bar, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create and utilize reverb that is guaranteed to be only accessible to you and no one else in the world. Now, if this is your first time on this channel and you would like to learn more about electronic music production or synthesizers, I highly encourage you to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to make sure that you don't miss anything. Okay, so how can we get this done? How can we get reverb or echo from another space that we actually have access to and get that into our own productions? And the answer is convolution reverbs. Now, convolution reverb is a process that is used for digitally simulating the reverberation of physical or virtual spaces with the use of IRs, also known as impulse responses. Okay, so to put it simply, the convolution reverb is a device that you can drop samples into that you recorded in different environments in the form of impulse responses. Now, what is an impulse response? An impulse response is an actual recording of the reverberation of the space that you are trying to replicate. Now, this could be a very short burst of white noise, like a quick clap, snap your fingers, and no, it doesn't have to be perfect. And towards the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you why. So the two things that you will need is the Convolution Reverb plugin and a trusted little voice recorder. Make sure it's stereo. Then what you do, you go to these places and you record the impulse response, kind of like this. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be using a Max for Live device which comes included with Ableton Live 10 Suite. But if you have another suggestion, if you know of another Convolution Reverb plugin that will do the same thing, please leave us a comment in the comment section below and let us know where to find it, so we can share the information with everybody else. Okay, so now let's jump into Ableton and I'm gonna show you how to get this done. Here we are with an Ableton, and first I'm gonna show you a couple of those samples that I recorded to be used as impulse responses. My studio, my empty-ass living room, and my kitchen. We'll talk about the other two in a second. So for now, I'm going to assume that you already have downloaded and installed the Max for Live device that is called Convolution Reverb, which I have here on 5 different return tracks. Now, once you've recorded your impulse responses, what you need to do is you need to find a folder where you are going to place these impulse responses. And the best way to do that is to right-click on the Convolution Reverb here, show it in Explorer, and then this will show you where the IRs are supposed to go. So this is the folder, and I created a folder for my own impulse responses, and you basically just copy and paste the waveform into this folder. Now, once you've done that, it's going to show up in your Convolution Reverb plugin, and you can pick and choose any which one of them to your liking. I have a few sample loops here from a few of our packs. First, I'm gonna play just a snare, then a full drum loop, and then a synth loop. And then going through one by one, I'm going to put them through these Convolution Reverb plugins. Let's start with the snare. Here comes my studio. So theoretically, this is what you would be hearing if you were playing this very same sample out loud in my studio. Let's move on to my empty living room. And finally, the kitchen. All right, let's try the full drum loop this time. Again, my studio. The empty living room. And the kitchen. Nice. And finally, the synth loop in the studio. In the empty living room. And in the kitchen. By the way, the samples that we are using in today's video are a part of our ANTARES and Leo 2 Volume 1 sample packs, which are available in our sample store, and the link is going to be in the description section below. Now let's stop here for a moment and take a time out, because I know this is the point where you're gonna start yelling at me saying, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? If I go to one of these places, let's say the Sistine Chapel, and I start recording impulse responses, that's gonna be cluttered with all the people around me and the birds flying. Are there birds? So how can that be a clean impulse response? And that's just the thing. It does not need to be. And that is what's going to give you its uniqueness. Because I can guarantee you, when you go to a Grand Canyon and then you clap your hand if you record that and you have a couple of tourists behind you speaking, that impulse response is one and only. It's never ever going to be recreated, and it's only gonna be yours. So guess what? You've just created a reverb that no one else can have, ever. Let me show you a couple of examples. Are there birds inside the Sistine Chapel? If you listen to this following impulse response, I recorded this in one of my favorite places on the planet. It has a 50-meter long hallway that's about 10 meters high. Oh, by the way, it's covered in marbles on all sides. Now, if you stand on one end of this hallway, you clap your hands, there is such a crazy pre-delay that you're actually going to hear the reverberation of your own clap coming back a fraction of a second later. Not only that, but if you listen to this carefully, you'll hear the ambience of people chattering in the background, and that is all part of this impulse response, which is going to be translated into the reverb. Let me show you what this sounds like on these samples. First, the snare. Listen to that again. Now let's try the drum loop. Drum code, anyone? Okay, now let's hear it with the synth loop. I mean, how cool is that? And I can guarantee you, nobody else has this reverb. Now, to take it one step further, it is not a carved-in stone rule that you have to use an impulse response that was recorded in any place. As a matter of fact, you can drop any sample in a convolution reverb. So if you pick some crazy sample, like the one I'm about to show you, you can create some pretty interesting textures. And if you're interested in seeing a few tips and tricks on Ableton's super powerful sampler, the Simpler, I'm gonna throw a link right up here in the corner to a playlist that I created only on that device. Alright, so now we're back in Ableton. I'm gonna show you this last sample here. Let's listen to it first. So this is the sample that I'm using as an impulse response. And let me show you what that sounds like when it's translated down into a convolution reverb environment. First with the snare, and pay attention to the decaying tail. Again. How cool is that? Let's try it with the drum loop. Nice. And finally, with the synth loop. I mean, how perfect is that? Okay, so the other really cool thing that you can do is find a sample pack that you like. So I'm just going to open one of my sample packs here, the ANTARES. And once you open that up and then you take one sample and drop it into the Convolution Reverb Pro right here, then all your samples are going to now show up in this window. So look how many samples here that you can use as impulse responses. So let's try a few. Another one. Nice. Oh, this is beautiful. This sort of creates a pad. And that's all there is to it. Now, I hope you found this video interesting and entertaining. And if you like what you're seeing here, and if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends, and give us a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to follow the link to your free downloads, because I'm going to package up this whole entire Ableton session with all the samples and the different Convolution Reverb settings, and I'm going to make it available for you as a free download, and the link is going to be in the description section below. Now, if you're interested in other quick production tips and tricks, then make sure you watch the rest of this playlist. So that's it for today, but don't go too far because the next video is right around the corner. Thank you.